Welcome to Get Unstuck and Sexy podcast show with your host, B. Wright-Jones. Sexy is the acronym for self-confidence, excitement, extra, and yes, I can. This podcast show will bring you encouragement, inspiration, and hope. Know that it's time to walk in your purpose with clarity, confidence, and power.
Good evening, good morning, and welcome to Power Conference 2023. How many of you don't know your purpose or think that you don't even have one? Because that was me. I never could understand what my purpose was. What was I supposed to be doing? And I can remember asking myself those questions numerous times because I thought my life was so boring. But years later, I would have never fathomed that this would be how I would find my purpose. But before we go on, I want to define purpose for you. And this is the Webster's Dictionary definition of purpose. The reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. A person's sense of resolve or determination and a particular requirement or consideration, typically one that is temporary or restricted in scope or extent. Well, I want to tell you that number 3 is what my purpose was defined as, a particular requirement or consideration, typically one that is temporary or restricted in scope or extent. My question was to God, why did you even consider me? What did I showcase that made you pick me? I could never understand why he picked me to walk this journey. He has an assignment for each of us. That is where the particular requirement or consideration comes in. That's why I chose number 3. I know you may be perplexed as to why he chose you, because I know I was. I never felt worthy, grateful, resolved, accepted, none of that. Why would he choose me? My life was very untypically what God would choose for me to be something for him. I was not that person. Instead, I was depressed, unhappy, no self-love, no self-worth. I was just exhausted with me. I was nothing as far as I was concerned. I lost my husband in 2014. After taking care of him for 14 years. He was diagnosed with a rare lung disease called pulmonary arterial hypertension. Just to make it short and quick, it was high blood pressure in your lungs. You do not live from this disease. Everyone passes away from this disease. He was given up to 3 years to live. And God said no. God said, nope, I got this. He went against all odds and lived for 14 years. But in that 14-year journey, I was so depressed. I disliked God with a passion. Even after my husband passed away, I still disliked God. I didn't want to live. I attempted to take my life. And to me, there was no reason to live because I lost my husband. But yet, I was told by a prophet that I have a role in this journey. And yes, I asked him, what are you talking about? You do not understand. What I'm not sick, he is. What is my role in this? Because I'm angry, I'm bitter. I'm going to lose my husband. Every day I'm like, is this the day? Maybe tomorrow is the day. You don't know. And you're afraid and, you're uncertain. So, my husband did pass away in 2014. So losing my husband was devastating. And like I said, I was so angry, so angry. I would go to church every Sunday and I would sit there either with my hands folded or with my face just saying, I don't even want to be here. I can remember one of the elders coming up to me and saying, why are you here? Because it's Sunday, you go to church. So I was just doing my normal routine, but doing it just as a routine. I got nothing from it. I just showed up because it was Sunday, you go to church. And I hid my depression and my unhappiness well. You know, it's those masks that we wear to protect us, to hide us from allowing people to see who we really are. So they can't see that we're hurting and that we need help. We all need to know it's all right to ask for help. There is no shame in my game now because there was shame in my game before. I was, known to be a strong woman. Everyone thought that, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing so good. After losing your husband, I was like, girl, I know it's okay. I'm good. The mask that I wore protected me, hid me, allowed me to let people see me outside because inside I was a different person. And I had to learn the hard way because being that strong woman to me is a futile task because being that strong woman makes you keep things in. Being that strong woman makes you not ask for help, not allow people in because you're trying to do it all. You don't want people to know anything. What goes on here stays here. But when I was alone, I was miserable. I was hiding my misery. But I'm here to say in all of this, and maybe even for you, I know that I am not the only one going through different situations and circumstances in my life. I'm sure that my life mirrors something similar to what you may be going through. But we have to know that God has a plan. He was always there with me, even when I didn't like him. It was difficult for me to see his plan in all of this mess. How can you see God's plan when you're hurting? You lost your husband. I was ill. I couldn't take care of myself because I wanted to take care of him. So in all of that, I could not see any plan. I couldn't even see him. I didn't want any prayer. I didn't want you to talk to me about God. I wanted nothing to do with God. But I went from pain to purpose, tragedy to triumph, from loss to boss, because God had a plan. God's word does not come back void. It accomplishes everything that it is sent to do. He told me to lean not on my own understanding. He told me to trust him that he will direct my path. He told me to make my requests known, and he said he is my provider. All of those words came back true. It did not, nothing was void. He did that and more. He had me through it all. He has a plan, and I have a purpose, and you have a purpose. You just have to follow God's plan. Believe that and remember that. If you don't remember anything else that I said today, remember that God has a plan and he is with you throughout the whole plan. No matter what it looks like, how devastated you are, he is there. He knows the thoughts that he thinks towards me and you, saith the Lord. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. And my end was never what I expected. I can sit here before you saying that I am a 5-time best-selling author. I am an international speaker. I am a certified health and wellness coach. I am a Reiki master. All of that was in the plan, but I couldn't see it. I could not see it no matter how hard I looked. But when you give it to God and trust God and know that he has a plan for you, you will find your purpose. I had to go through a tragedy to find that purpose, but I found it. Know that nothing in your life is a mistake, no matter how devastating, horrible, or traumatic it may seem. I have been through the fire and I have come out on the other side. Never could I have believed all that God has in store for me. I am leaving you with this. He has a plan, and I and you have a purpose. Just trust the process. Peace and blessings.